the management books and management magazines are full of advice how to manage other people. And yet you cannot hope to get performance out of other people unless you make yourself fully effective. Executives in any organization, large or small, governmental, business, non-profit, all of them, need to be seen as addressing themselves and working themselves on the key challenges. And so the next step in being an effective executive is to think through. It's always an enormous list of 40 people, 40 things. And nobody can do more than one or two at a time. And so an effective executive sets priorities and sticks to them. And perhaps the final thing to say about your personal effectiveness is organize your self-development. I learned this many years ago from some of the most effective executives I worked with. And again, it's old, this is pretty old. Once a year, I sit down, push everything else aside for 2 weeks. I'll do it again this coming August. And I sit down and look at the last year. So spend time on people decisions. We know how to make them. One looks at the assignment before one looks at people. And one looks at the performance of a number of people. And this is particularly important in the family company. And in every country, there are 20 family companies for one that is publicly owned. Only they don't make the headlines, so the outsider always knows the big companies in Brazil or in the US or in Argentina, and he doesn't know the smaller and still mostly family-run companies. And family companies come to grief because they run the business for the family, and the family company, the family has to be run for the business. And so it is cheaper to pay that incompetent nephew of your wife not to come to work than to give him a job. And that's a very important thing to know for the executive in family companies. He has to forget that this person is family. He has to look at the assignment and at the strengths of people and match the two. And then it becomes not necessarily irrelevant, but of secondary importance that this person is family and this one is not. The job comes first, or the family company won't survive. And to be an effective executive in an organization, you have to learn to be able to play two different roles. There's a great deal of talk today, maybe yesterday is already over the hump, about our moving out of the command and control organization. Yes and no. The more knowledge workers you have, in your organization, the less you can command.